All right, let's start with our prayers. Hogan, do you want to be the chant master? Again, Sashi.
Oh, Sashi, right. Had it memorized. Sashi Buki
Joshin Meito Shi Nyande Genpadi Sange Shindu Mite Uva Gira Kunanda Shinla Chupasho Chudang Soki Choklanda Nyanchu Badurakni Kyasuchi Naki Jinin Ipe Sunamki Drola Penchir Sange Drupasho Sange Chudang Soki Choklanda Nyanchu Badurakni Kyasuchi Daki Jinin Ipe Sunamki Drola Penchir Sange Drupasho Sange Chudam Soki Choknanda Jamchu Badurakni Kyapsuchi Anaki Jinin Mipe Sunamki Drola Penchir Sange Drupasho. Just keeping your eyes closed, getting into a comfortable position. Making sure your spine is nice and straight. Shoulders are relaxed. Feeling heavy through your sit bones. Just allowing past and the future to just fall away. Just arriving here, this present moment. Relaxing as much as you can. Placing in front of you your enlightened self, your future enlightened self. And then try to see the world from that enlightened self. Try to place yourself into the future you and look out to the world. Try to get a feel of what it would be like be fully enlightened, to be completely at peace, to have great love for all beings, to have no afflictions whatsoever. Then bowing down to your future you. Making offerings to all the qualities of this future you. Any kind of offering. Material offerings or offerings such as offering your practice. Is asking this future enlightened you to help you reach that form as quick as possible. Then this future you is starting to turn away, so its face is the same way as you sitting here. And then you place enlighten you on top of your head. You shrink it down. Shrink it down and then allowing you to come in through your crown. Lighting up your whole body. Placing the future enlightened you at your heart center. Making a nice little home. Your whole body is filled with light. Good to have Carol back.
I'm so happy to be back.
Definitely been thinking a lot about you. Your hair looks so pretty. It's different.
Yeah.
Did you cut it?
It was a mess before.
It was a mess. You brushed it?
Yeah. Washed it.
You look really good. You look really good.
She looks youthful. You look younger.
Yeah. The other thing before we start the next part of the class is that, we were just making offerings in meditation, and I thought, well, speaking of offerings, Hogan made a very beautiful offering for us. Whoever would like a binder of this course, Hogan has created that for you. So, who would like one? Yeah.
There's 4, right?
There's 4.
Yeah.
So, would you like one of them?
How about you, Carnegie?
Just
Why don't you take one first? I can always download what I need, and I have done it before.
Are you sure? I have an extra copy, just not on a nice binder.
I'll have the
I'll have the extra copy and not a nice binder. Yes.
Not in the
Yes.
nice binder.
Yes.
Okay.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you, Georgina.
Thank you. Oh, look.
Oh, look at the extra treat.
Wow.
He really is down.
Yes.
Cool.
I get an IKEA flyer.
Dividers.
For you.
Yeah, that's important. Oh, see, if you don't pull out those pages, that's where the dividers go.
Oh,
and
I
you
see.
can have a chance to. It's actually a very thin one this time. Like the readings are not usually.
That's true. Yeah, the reading for class
Yeah.
2 was just
I'm good.
3 or 4
You're-
pages.
Yeah. Thank you, Santa. Can you make all my other wishes come true now?
Now, that's an amazing offering. This is like
Wonderful.
the best gift you could give anyone.
Yes.
So thank you, Hogan. Okay, so refuge. This is class 2. What did we talk about in class 1? Does anybody remember anything what we did?
Talks about the 3 jewels, the Buddha jewel, Sangha jewel, and the Dharma jewel, and
Yes.
their definitions.
And their definitions. What are the definitions of those jewels?
Buddha jewel, I remember one of the definitions. Both needs are satisfied. Both the Buddha's needs and your needs are satisfied when you go for refuge to the Buddha.
Mm-hmm.
There's more to it, but I can't.
Mm-hmm. And what is the Dharma jewel? Maybe somebody else who knows.
Taking refuge in the teachings.
Yeah.
Ones on books or in your mind or your heart.
Yeah.
Realizations.
Realizations, right? Yeah. And then there was the Sangha jewel.
Anybody who's seen pensions directly. Sangha.
Yeah. So you either take refuge in the teachings, in the realizations of beings, or in an enlightened being, right?
So refuge means that, let's say you're in a traffic jam and you need to get somewhere. Is that like saying asking the Buddha for help? Would that be like taking refuge, asking the Bodhisattva for help to get you there on time? I'm trying to see it in practical terms.
Could be, yeah. So we're talking about that today. basically, last week we talked about who you go to refuge to. And then this week we talk about going for refuge. And what that would look like. So let me just see, what else did we talk about last week before I
Prajna Paramita, perfection of wisdom.
Yeah. Which is the perfection of wisdom. What is the perfection of wisdom? What is the Prajna Paramita?
Okay, so there's different sutras. There's 3 different sutras: the long, the medium, and the short. My layman's interpretation of that is constantly thinking about emptiness and karma.
Okay. The actual definition of Prajna Paramita, of the perfection of wisdom. What makes wisdom perfect? What is the perfection of wisdom?
Would be seeing emptiness.
Half of it, that's half of it. With what?
What was with bodhicitta?
With bodhicitta, yes.
Seeing emptiness.
Seeing emptiness under the influence of bodhicitta. Yeah. That is perfecting your wisdom. If you don't have bodhicitta, it's not perfect.
So
it's pretty good, but it's not perfect.
So when we're trying to see wisdom in everyday things, we're not really perfecting. We're not perfecting wisdom then.
And we're working our way towards it. Yeah. Oh, yeah, no, we talked about the difference, some of those terms that we throw out around a lot. Arya and Arhat, right? Remember what Arya is? Who is an Arya?
Maybe with them confused. I thought Arya and Arhat are different then, because of seeing it, they see emptiness. That's not necessarily with bodhicitta, perhaps.
Arya seeing emptiness directly.
Arya is the act.
Arya is a being who has seen emptiness directly. Yeah.
And Arhat is
Eliminated all their mental afflictions. They're in nirvana.
Yeah, they're in nirvana. Yeah. So it's a step further than an Arya. Yeah? Makes sense, right? So an Arya, after you've seen emptiness directly, you're not done. You still have anger, you still have pride, you still have all those things. But now you have that deep wisdom, that experience that has changed your life. So you're on your way to reach nirvana, and it can be very quick to get there.
but you wouldn't be a Buddha until you have the bodhicitta. Is that it?
Correct. Yeah. So once you reach nirvana, you have no more mental afflictions. But
So an arhat has reached nirvana.
that is nirvana. Nirvana is having no more mental afflictions. So that means that nirvana is not a place you go. Nirvana can be right here, right now. Some of us here can be in nirvana right now. So it's not a place you go. It's a state of mind that is free from all disturbances, free from all this pain. So if you have bodhicitta, on top of this, you can become enlightened, right? So when you have bodhicitta, when you're an enlightened being, you have great love for all beings. You have no more mental afflictions yourself. And you know all things. So that's the big difference between being in nirvana and being enlightened. An enlightened being works for everybody. So when we go for refuge, this is still last week's class, there need to be two things, in order for us to want to go to refuge. Do you remember what those were?
You have to have enough of suffering.
Yeah, but I think, it's a fear. It's a fear of suffering. Yeah, it is true what you're saying. It's a renunciation for sure. You don't want it anymore. So there's a fear then. And then the second part is what? You need to have a belief that somebody can help you or protect you. Yeah? So you can just think this as running to mama, right? You hurt yourself, you're scared, and you run to your mom because you believe that they can protect you and help you and comfort you, right? So in order for us to go for refuge, well, for anyone, there's a fear and then there's a belief. Okay.
I think the refuge is a safe place. I think it's safe.
Yeah. Safe place. So that is the last class. And then today we'll first start with the definition of going for refuge. So in Tibetan, you can repeat after me. Yo, Shen La, Rang Tok Ki, Rewa, Shewe, Sempa, Kamdre, Seni. So what this means, well, I can say it word for word. Yo is object. Shen La is another two. Rang itself. Top Ki is power, I. Rewa is hope. Shewe is all. Sempa is the movement of the mind. Kamdre is going for refuge. And Seni is definition. So all of that together would be refuge is a thought which of its own power puts all its hopes into another object. So we just said that, right? You think that someone can help you, that's why we run to our mommy.
Let's do that again.
Refuge is that thought which of its own power puts all its hopes in another object. So this is not Buddhist this is just refuge for anyone. Right? So there's two kinds of that refuge. One is ordinary refuge, and the other one is exceptional refuge. So ordinary refuge would be what we do, most of us do all day long, right? We get up in the morning and go to work because we believe that we need to go to work in order to get money. we eat food because, we take refuge in food. We feel we need to eat in order to have energy. Taking refuge in tea. All day long, it's like that, right? All day long, we take refuge in everything because we believe it helps us. And then, of course, we go to the doctor when we have pain. We go to the lawyer if we need, I don't know, something sorted. So we take refuge in people, in things, all the time. Yeah? So this is ordinary refuge. Exceptional refuge would be the refuge that Buddhists have. Refuge in the three jewels. Okay. So when we take refuge all day long in things and people, every time we do that, it's temporary. The result is temporary. They cannot help you really. They help you for a moment. But somehow we think that they can really help us because we keep chasing them. It's funny because in these audios that I was listening to prepare the class, one of the students was kind of singled out because she just got a new job, So, he's saying, you take refuge into getting a new job, because maybe the old one wasn't any good, and you think this next one will be better, but in a matter of weeks you'll start to complain there, and maybe don't get along with the other people, or the boss starts to yell at you, and then you already in your mind start to think, you want to look for the next thing, right? And at that time, that lady said, well, she's just starting her new job the next day, and she said, oh, that's not gonna happen to me. And that's how we think. That is how we always think, right? And then a few weeks later, in the audio, she just got yelled at by her boss, that day or the day before. And I thought it's so funny, because it's a good representation of what we do and how we think, I just need to have a new car because this one doesn't work anymore. Well, it's so exciting, and then you get it, and then within, matter of time, it's, you start complaining about it, and you already think, think about the next, I don't know. It's just we're never satisfied, so we always go for refuge in the next thing. And so all of these things are just temporary. They don't last. I said before, I take refuge in tea all the time. This is my comfort thing, I feel kind of tired or cold or whatever. I like to drink tea. Well, that's nice, but it doesn't last. It gives me comfort for a moment. If I'm lucky, sometimes I burn my mouth. It doesn't give me comfort at all. Sometimes the flavor isn't the one that I wanted, right? So none of it lasts. None of it lasts. It's all temporary. And I'm not saying you shouldn't drink tea, you shouldn't go to the doctor, you shouldn't buy a new car. I'm not saying that at all. I'm just saying the nature of how we act. It's like somehow we don't realize that we're always just chasing after the next thing. It's so crazy. So this is ordinary refuge. So then exceptional refuge is going for refuge in the three jewels. And we'll talk about some divisions, of course, on what that can look like as a Buddhist practitioner. So we can have 3 types of practitioners. So I wrote that down too. Sekibu, Chung, Dring, Chenpo, Sum. Keibo is person. Chung is small. Dring is middle. Chenpo is big. Sum is 3. So you have 3 types of practitioners is what it means. Okay. So you have the small, medium, and big. Great practitioner. And all of these beings have exceptional refuge because it's not ordinary refuge. Okay? So the small practitioner, small scope, is the minimum motivation that you should have in order to be a Buddhist. And what would that be?
Getting yourself alone out of suffering.
That is close, but that's actually more the medium one. So small is
the lower births. You don't want to be born into any of the 3 lower births?
Yeah.
3 lower realms?
So basically,
It's ethical behavior.
you don't want to be born in the hell realm, in the animal realm, or as a hungry ghost. Okay? This is their motivation. And if you work with this motivation, you will see lots of results in this life. You will accumulate a lot of virtue. Okay. We're lucky if we can even have this motivation. So they don't want to be born as an animal. Okay, that's kind of clear. But then hell realm and hungry ghost, those are 2 things we cannot see. Animals we can see, right? In Buddhism, they don't say, yeah, you can see them. You cannot see them. So, but scripture says they're there. Okay, and they're saying, just like in Christianity, that hell is an actual place that you can be born into. Okay? It's not like it's a state of mind. Which, I've had many times in this life alone where I thought I was in a hell realm, nothing to do with my surroundings, all in my own mind, right? But this, they say, no, it's different. This is actual a place, there's a whole course on this, what it's like, all the different hell realms, there's different kinds, and lots of fire, and, you get murdered and you come back to life and they murder you again and you be there for a long, long time. So this is something that, I cannot prove to you. Animals I can say, okay, just, look outside, you see a dog, right? With hungry ghosts and hell, I cannot prove that. So you can either buy it or not at this point. And as we study more, you'll come to your own understanding of it. It's not a fun place, the hell realm. Not a fun place. So it's a good motivation to not want to be born there. So then hungry ghosts, what would that be? You don't want to be born as a hungry ghost. This is not really discourse, but I'm just saying this because it might not, you might not know what it is. Do you want to take a guess on what a hungry ghost may be?
Is a hungry ghost one that hasn't passed on? Like he's still bound into this earth?
Could be. Yeah, could be. And there's very nasty descriptions about these beings, that they have really small necks and big tummies, and they can't eat anything or drink anything. They can't swallow, but yet they're so hungry and thirsty. And apparently, this is a karmic result of being really stingy in your life. So you'll be in a place and you'll see this beautiful feast, and you can't eat it. You can't drink it, and you're so hungry and thirsty. So something like this. I had a friend in Holland who can see these beings, and they're everywhere. Yeah. But there's no point on sharing that with people, because they think she's crazy. People don't want to hear that stuff. And I cannot prove it to you. So again, that's just something you can think about, and later on, things might piece together, and maybe in meditation or at some point you might see it. Maybe not, but in any case, the lower scope people don't want to be born like this. So their life is you have to do a lot of good virtue to not be reborn into any of the lower realms. So that's the lower scope. Then the medium scope is what Turnjeet said. So in the medium scope, you just want to get out of suffering. You just want to escape the cycle. And you understand that, taking refuge all day long and all this stuff, it's not going to make you happy. You'll never be satisfied. And you're just sick and tired of the pain that you have and you see other people have. You don't want it anymore. And then for the highest scope, you don't want other people to have that pain, nor yourself, right? So in here, you want to do it for everybody. In the medium scope, you don't like what you see, you don't like what you feel, you want out. And in the higher scope, you want out, but you want to have everybody out too. Okay, so that's the greatest motivation. So if you have this great motivation, do you have also the small and the medium one? Yeah, you do. So even a Buddha has the small scope, okay? And the medium, and the greatest. Does it make sense? Okay.
I want to get out of suffering, but I don't necessarily want to give up the pleasures in life and the people that I love. So that's not true renunciation or refuge, right?
Well, I didn't say that you can't have pleasures and you can't have people that you love.
Yeah. So you can have it just for, I want to end the suffering, but I still want to have all good things. Even though I know I know from previous classes they come to an end as well. Everything comes to an end.
You come to realize that all the people that you love, they all die. All the pleasures in life, they'll all end. So
I don't know. I think for myself, I don't know how other people feel. I can't get there because I love my kids too much. I love drinking tea and having all those things. So I feel like I have to give that all up.
no, well, I didn't say that you have to give anything up in that sense. We just need to apply wisdom to the whole situation. That's what we need to do. We need to take refuge. I'm not saying you have to give up. You just have to give up the old view. the one that keeps you suffering. Okay. You know, some people choose to give up everything and go into a monastery. That is one way, sure. But you don't have to do that. You can use how your life is as a path to become free of suffering. You can use those people that you love. You can use the pleasures that you have in life as a way out. And you'll actually enjoy them more.
So you have those experiences without projection, what they were talking about?
You'll always be projecting. You'll always be projecting. Yeah. But you will not have a worldly attachment to those things. Yeah. So we do need to give up that worldly attachment. And gain wisdom.
So you can enjoy without attachment.
Absolutely. Yeah. You can enjoy more. Yeah, because you don't have this me thing always wanting stuff, you know? You can just be free and enjoy.
You don't
Just
have the pain
being.
of losing.
Just be present, and you're not pulled by all the things, you know?
Did you read that book, The Gift?
The gift.
Yeah. That story is how, you know, our path of having children and this love for them can be the motivation to do this, because that's where our love them to be enlightened to. To do that, you need to first hit that path. So I guess that book was talking about that person wanting to help his mother.
Who wrote the book on that?
I think it's Geshe Michael Roach.
Yeah.
You read it too, Richard?
It's called The Gift,
I don't
It
know.
was a parable, like a thing, that they had the three jewels.
I don't recall that book.
Because that's, yeah.
Yeah, it's, you know, it's beautiful if you're a mother, you know, because the love of a mother for its child is quite something. So it's beautiful to use that to open your heart. Okay, so we have two more here. So we had 3 types of practitioners: the small, medium, and great. And we have a total of 5 divisions in the refuge. So the next one is this one. Ki Kamdro Drebu Kamdro. So this is going for refuge, cause and result. So number 4 of this list is result refuge. And
Number 4 of this division.
so there's 5 divisions of the Buddhist refuge: small, medium, and great scope. And then number 4 is result. And number 5 is cause.
Well, number 4 is result.
Yeah. Number 5 is cause. Yeah. So result refuge is what we did in a meditation. You're going for refuge in your own future Buddhahood. Buddhahood, Dharmahood, Sanghahood. Yeah, in your own Buddhahood.
your own.
Yeah, you become the three jewels, right? When you are a Buddha. So you are taking refuge in the future you, in the future enlightened version of yourself. So I hope you got a nice feel for that in the meditation.
So in the meditation, you mentioned at one point, how can I speed up my path to enlightenment? So in an everyday sense, let's say you're in that traffic jam, you could just say, what could help me get there, or how could this better, I don't know, you talking to your future self, your future enlightened self to help you in that situation?
You can do that. I mean, there's so many ways where I think it's not like set in stone on how that would work for you. But yeah, if you want to have conversations with your future you, by all means. Other ways is to ask, for signs or to show you and help you when you need it. And but if you're in a traffic jam, one of the ways of going for refuge is just simply knowing that if it's bothering you that you're in traffic jam, I mean, it might not bother you. Maybe you're having a good time listening to some music and, maybe it doesn't bother you. But if it does bother you, taking refuge is simply knowing that that's a result. You know that, okay, I'm feeling bothered, I'm feeling annoyed. Well, I must have been annoying to somebody else. I must have caused somebody not to get where they wanted to go. So I'm experiencing all this obstruction in my way, in my path, that's going for refuge. Rather than blaming the person in front of you in the car for driving too slow, person who's cutting you off, where you get mad and you're yelling at them and blaming the outside world. So we're saying do the opposite. Take refuge, take responsibility, and, be okay. It's okay, You're in traffic jam, okay. Well, I've created this. That's okay. I'll try to be more mindful to help people where they want to go. Try not to force my views on people, or not be happy for other people when they want to do something. I don't know. Make sure you don't act annoying to other people. All of this, right? It can just help you. It can help you in so many ways, So you be more mindful in your day-to-day activities and trying to catch yourself doing certain things that might result into a nasty traffic jam. Or anything else. I mean, this is an all-day thing, right? You can do that with everything,
Thank you, that's very helpful.
Okay, so we got 5. So the last one is cause refuge. So a cause refuge is going for refuge in a quality which has already been achieved in somebody. So you're going for refuge to another person who has the 3 jewels already established in their mind. So this could be your Lama, your teacher, right? Or it could be the Buddha, it could be anybody you see as having these qualities, right?
Are they any qualities or qualities that you admire? Are they specific qualities?
Well, this talks about the qualities which have been achieved, which mainly refers to having had high realizations. I think, but yeah, of course, you can always admire any kind of qualities in other beings, well, in any being, period. In this particular case, in someone that you see as high, high and holy. And it's a good practice.
Just does it have to be someone just who has, you said, the three jewels in your heart? Doesn't have to be an enlightened being, Arya.
Sorry?
Was it more? I think I was just trying to be clear on who this other person is.
Yeah, it doesn't really say. I mean, it says who has the three jewels already established in their mind, so it would refer to, someone you see that way, as enlightened or close to it. But yeah, like
Refer to the teachings, I guess.
an Arya or an Arhat, or in the Buddha. But since we don't know, mostly we don't know who has these qualities, who has achieved that. So it's good to think that they do, that they have achieved that. It's a very high view if you can think of beings around you in that way. Because what happens is you're planting seeds in your mind to see more and more of them, right? Yeah. It's a very beautiful practice to look for amazing qualities in beings. We often do the opposite and try to see,
Not no three jewels. No.
Yeah,
One jewel.
we judge all the time, everybody around us. But if we could turn that around and judge them for good things, that would be great. That would be really great. It would change us, right? What?
I said that's what we're going to do on the ride home. Look for amazing qualities in people.
It's so nice. It's so nice. So nice.
Well, once you see it in others, you can't recognize it in others if you don't have the seed within yourself.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And you'll spiral up, And it's very true. It's a reflection of you, right? So you see beauty in others only because you have beauty. Right? And it's nice. It's nice to makes everything more magical. I watched this, I don't know what it was for, but it was this little clip. And it was this guy who woke up in his bed and he was all wrapped in Christmas wrapping. And he looks beside him and his wife is wrapped in all of this too. And his kids walk in the door. Good morning, Dad, what's going on? Because they're all wrapped in Christmas presents too. And he's like, oh! And then he gets up. There's a bow on the tap, he's turning on the tap. And everything was like a present. And he goes in the shower and the shower is wrapped. Then he goes to sit down, and then the kids or there's a present on the table, and he opens it, and there's breakfast in it. And then his kids give him the keys, and he's like, keys, what? And then he looks outside, and there's a car all wrapped in present, So that's nice. It's a nice way to live like that, instead of taking everything for granted and, complaining about everything. think it's nice to see everything as a gift and to see your partner or your friends in your life, your family, as wow, they're all gifts for you. It's nice. It was very cute. I felt it was very childlike, joyous, and it's a nice way to live. To look for the good in things and people. And then especially taking it a little bit higher and just seeing them as enlightened beings right there, for you. They're here for you, to help you. I got a call yesterday from a landlord, where we go through a property management, we're renting, and he was so nervous, this man on the phone with me, and I thought, what's going on? I thought maybe he's going to tell us we have to get out or something. But he was phoning to say that our rent got raised, and we've been living there for 7 years and it never got raised before, and they're raising it by $68 a month. He was so nervous to tell me, and I don't know. It doesn't matter to me, It's I don't know. Instead of going like, it's like, great. It's not been raised for forever, and nice. Get those owners a bit more money, whatever. It's nice. But you always have this, like, you can choose. Do you want to complain about it and then try to plan your revenge? But that's what we do. Think, well, how can I get back at them? Our windows are kind of old, and maybe we'll just tell them right away that we need new windows, or you can. That's what. Yeah, it's kind of normal to behave like that almost, right? Someone says something not so nice to you, then you go and plan your attack of, okay, what am I going to say back? So if we can just don't do that at all and see everything as holy, that would be cool, Seeing the $68 that I have to pay extra a month as an offering, and offer it, makes it exciting. Rather than, it's great. So let's take just a couple minutes of a break. I'll have some treats. There's lots of treats.
Yeah.
We never have breaks.
I always want to do a break, but then there's so much to say.
Yeah.
Like, give that is.
Yeah.
Yeah. I've already had some. Holy smokes. I can now share. Or you can take all.
Thank you. It really helps when I can then put it in practice. So when you're eating something like this, so what would be the refuge? So I'm hungry, so I'm taking refuge in this. So what would be a good thing as I eat this? Well,
Just knowing that whether it tastes good or bad doesn't come from this.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's from my karma.
The fact that we have it, doesn't come from you buying it in the store.
Right. Comes from karma. Okay.
Yeah. So that's definitely taken. And then as you eat it, offer it out.
Just like I'm enjoying this, may all beings enjoy.
Just the bliss of that you're feeling of eating it. Just send it out. May everybody feel that.
Georgina's sending this around. These ones are coming around. Coconut clusters?
Do what? I'm not. No, you go for it. I'm not that hungry. I had a great lunch. Thanks for the ride. Okay.
My taxi came and picked me up and dropped me off. He didn't even say thank you. No thank you.
It's fine.
It was an early and quick fly. Seems so sweet.
Mm-hmm.
They smell good too. Yeah, they do really smell good. They are. You know what happened before. Yeah. It smells so good too.
Coconut custard, what is it?
That's such a pretty glass. Wow.
Thank you.
Oh, this looks super amazing today.
That's
Have
such
the
a
good
pretty.
fortune.
That's such a pretty dress.
Oh, thank you.
Are you coming to our party tomorrow?
Their party.
Yeah, 12:30 to 3:30.
Oh,
Here.
yeah, okay.
Yeah, it's a potluck.
Oh,
There
yeah.
could be lots of beautiful prizes and activities. I dress would look awesome at the party.
Oh,
I
wow.
mean, you would be awesome.
All right.
With or without the dress.
I'll wear something.
Yeah, wear something. That would be a strange kind of awesome. People would get excited though. They wouldn't forget that part. You don't have a party where somebody comes naked. No, I have. Have you? Yeah, I
Someone came
remember.
naked?
Yeah, there was.
Your own party?
No, not my party. I
Was
went
it
to
a
party and
Halloween
there were
party or
some people naked. No, there were just these people that said, I'm coming naked. I'm like, am I the only one who thinks this is
Oh, wait a
weird?
minute.
And people are just like trying to be
Pardon?
cool
You brought
about
the
it.
coconut custard.
This is
Oh
really
yeah,
so weird.
I brought
Yeah.
them for the party tomorrow.
We'll
So
come
I
naked
will-
tomorrow. Or
They came
anything.
from Costco.
I would be very uncomfortable. I wouldn't know where to look.
I know.
Like
Well,
them,
they didn't.
so,
I didn't know them, so I
you know,
didn't
I
have
know
to
some
talk to them.
people
But even having
may
them
not
in
be
the
able to
room,
have,
I couldn't
there'll be a
really
lot of
just
stuff
kind
with
of
gluten, so
whatever.
Yeah.
I realized
Probably doesn't have
I
gluten.
don't even think that I have a thing about
Yeah.
that, but until you taste it, it suddenly
Yeah, that's what I heard. I didn't have, I was brought it to the retreat.
it sort of
And
felt like it was a
we were talking about
insult or something. I took it personal.
I
I couldn't just let it go.
have it as-
Actually, can.
Very interesting.
Where do you
Mhm.
put your eyes?
I don't know if it is gluten free, I don't see.
Just like a map.
Well, it's great because it actually makes you focus on their eyes, right? Which is a kind of a mesmerizing thing when you can just stop looking at just sort of everything around you.
Yeah.
If you don't get it at Costco, Costco has a lot of wonderful products. And I don't know, sometimes they're kind of exclusive and you just say it's so wonderful. 99%.
Hey there.
Yeah,
Are you hot, Mariska?
buy enough.
Sorry?
Are you hot?
Yeah.
You
Oh, it's
flushed.
really hot here. Yeah. I find when I teach, yeah, I get sweaty.
It was warm in here.
It's always quite warm in here.
I'm just exactly getting shivers.
Gee.
And I'm wearing like 3 layers.
Yeah.
Have it on.
When I'm sitting on that side, I have the same. I'm always kind of cold. But, oh.
23 in here, like someone said it's 24. That's why it's really, if you want them to have a bit of pressure.
Might be nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
And I wonder if
All
those.
our guys,
that goes
all our guys, down he takes the yoga classes here. Oh, how'd you come here? Thinking me, I'm like, wait, you said, that's the money on, did it work well? A lot of the time. That's nothing, I took you an hour to walk here.
so much for the
No, you're right, I lived just a second.
You're welcome. Well, you know, that's what got me started on that gift that you gave me.
I learned a lot.
You gave me that first binder, and I was like, oh, okay. Yeah, I still have a little tabs that you wrote into.
Aw.
It's like, it's all done with so much love. And,
I have a friend who had really long
realized-
chest when she got
I think it was the next course I took, and then there was no binder. And you explained to me, yeah, I just gave it to you for your first one. I went, okay. That's good. I thought it's part of the. That's, I still have it, so that's why I wanted to share back the
Maybe before my
gift
time.
that you did. Yeah.
Multiplied it.
All right, let's get back here.
Yeah, yeah.
Just a big hair.
I don't know about the boobs. I haven't seen that. You have it. There you were.
definition.
So one of the things of refuge is that, you know, when we say the refuge prayer at the beginning of class, it's just words, right? The idea is that real refuge would be a state of mind. In Tibetan, they have this saying. There's a little story, I don't know how to say, that when you're out in the pouring rain on this big field, and you see a pavilion, and you stand in the pouring rain, and you go, pavilion, 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 you know, you say the words. It's not the same as actually going into the pavilion and then being dry, right? So having that behind it, right? We can just say the words, not think about it, have no intention, not really going for refuge. Right? So actually going to that pavilion would be taking refuge. So the last little bit of the class is talks about the 8 qualities of a Buddha. This is not in your homework. It's not in the reading either. But it's from Uttara Tantra text, which is not Tantra, but by Maitreya, who spoke it to a Sangha. So it's just a little list of some things that I'll go through. And the first quality, so you can just listen, you don't have to worry too much about memorizing this or anything. The first quality is Buddha is uncaused. And you should now go right away. Your alarm bell should go off. How can a Buddha be uncaused? Because isn't that uncaused?
Oh, uncaused.
How could a Buddha not be caused? Isn't that what we're trying to do here? Put causes into place to become a Buddha. What they're referring to is, when they say that, is Dharmakaya is uncaused. The emptiness of a Buddha is uncaused. And why is that? It is because the emptiness is a lack, something that's not there. So, you know, we've spoken about, I think I gave an example of the cup in the last course. You know, this is the emptiness of a cup is, I see this as a cup, but if a dog or a baby would see it, wouldn't see a cup. So it means there's no cup inside this cup. Okay? The cup comes from my mind saying, I'm seeing a cup. So that is the emptiness of an object. So we all lack in this way. Okay? The way I see myself is very different than the way Turnjit sees me, Carol sees me. Okay? That means I'm not fixed, because if I was fixed, if I was Mariska, everybody would see me the same way. But that's not happening. Right?
So everyone's uncaused, everything is Buddha.
The nature, the emptiness of you is uncaused. Yeah. So we call that Buddha nature. So we all have this potential. Because we're empty, we can create through karma the virtue to label ourselves differently, to label ourselves as a Buddha. You know? And it's only because we are empty, because if we were not empty, you could not see yourself change. You could not be from, the way you see yourself now to an enlightened being. It would not be possible if you were fixed. If the cup was the cup, you could not be a Buddha. You could never become a Buddha. Okay? So in that sense, we're all equal because we are all empty of a self nature, which is good news. So it means we can change the way we see ourselves and the world. So that's the first one. The second one, quality, is the Buddha is spontaneous. And I love this. You can think of it as, think of a clear night and the moon is out. Everywhere where there's a body of water, without any, obstructions, the moon will reflect in the water, right? It would even reflect in the water of your eye if you would look at the moon, right? The moon doesn't have to think about that. The moon doesn't think, oh, I see a pool of water there, let's reflect myself, right? It just happens automatically, spontaneously. Just like that is how the Buddha operates. Spontaneous. Doesn't need to think, 5 o'clock today, I know Taranjit's going to be in her home, I'm going to appear as, I don't know, right? Not like that. It's spontaneously. That is one of the great qualities of a Buddha. I don't need to think about it. It just happens. If Taranjit has the karma at 4 o'clock to receive some kind of anything from an enlightened being, she will. If she doesn't, she doesn't. So whenever anybody's ready, the Buddha is there. Without effort. Spontaneous. Just like the moon in the water. Next one says, realized by no other way.
Say that again.
Realized by no other way. Which means a person cannot perceive the Dharmakaya conceptually. So unless you are a realized being, you cannot see the emptiness of another person. Through logic, we can understand it, just like I explained. The cup's not in the cup, but you're not seeing it directly. So we have the Buddha as uncaused, meaning his Dharmakaya is uncaused, spontaneous, just like the moon in reflection, realized by no other way. Then there's knowledge, meaning Buddha is aware of our condition of suffering.
Knowledge.
Yeah. Yeah, knowledge. Buddha is aware of our condition of suffering. Number 5 is love, cares about all. Number 6 is power. His power is to teach you. Based upon his love and knowledge about our condition, he can teach us. And then the last two is he fulfills both needs, his own and ours.
Hmm?
His own and ours.
7 and 8.
Yeah, and we already talked about that last week, right? So he's obviously fulfilled his own needs because he is now, in paradise, beautiful light body, happy, beyond suffering. So that's obvious that he's fulfilled his own needs. But then, we were wondering, why is it that he fulfills our needs? Because it's great that Buddha is a Buddha, but how is that helping us, And why was that? Because he can teach us. Become the same. And if we are still suffering, we just don't have the virtue quite yet to have it happen. Because of our karmic disposition.
These are the 8 qualities of the Buddha.
Yeah. I think in other courses there's different lists too, but this is for some reason listed in this class.
You can ignore this question if it's not relevant, but I'm wondering if then do the Buddhists believe Jesus is Buddha? Because these seem like qualities that Jesus.
Mm-hmm. There's lots of enlightened beings.
I think they answered one of the questions in the homework last week. It was definition of a Buddha jewel and explain at least 3 of this jewel's qualities. I didn't really get that from the notes that I took.
Okay.
But then I read the answer key, and there are some of these.
Oh yeah, the 8 qualities. I remember coming across that too. I didn't know what the 8 qualities were. So today,
at least
that's what
3
we
of
were
the
to.
so
jewel's
that-
qualities.
Okay.
Last week's homework was that. I didn't know what it was either.
Oh, so now you
So
can
it's
answer them
probably
because
wrong.
of this class?
Yeah.
Yeah, or
Yeah, it's
looking
pretty
at the
good.
answer.
Yeah. Yeah.
But
Yeah.
Okay.
that
Okay, sorry that wasn't clear.
Thank you. I wanted to ask that too,
yeah, I didn't.
but I didn't know how to break it.
So taking refuge in the short term is protection. Long term, the goal is to become a Buddha.
The 8 qualities. Number 7 was he fulfills both needs. And so is number 7 he fulfills his needs?
Sure.
Number 8 he
Yeah.
fulfills your needs.
Okay, that's all. I'll check the answer, the questions to see if I covered. all covered. Is there any questions before we close up?
Middle fingers with my index fingers. It's like I put pinkies down. It's like created 4 continents. My ring fingers.
Sounded like Tarnjeet. Maybe I'm not really clear on. Are we going to learn more about what taking refuge is in the other classes?
Yeah, we continue to cover, cover all of this and go deeper into some of the ideas. But, think about, the things we take refuge in, like ordinary refuge, and then apply the wisdom that you have. That is taking refuge. That is taking refuge in wisdom. Think about, making money. Think about something like that. Is making money, getting money, is that the result of how hard we work? This is a belief that we have in the West. We think that, if I go to work and I work really hard, I'll get a nice amount of money from that. This is stuff that's just accepted. Start to question those things, Can that really be true? And then prove to yourself that it can be true. Because some people don't work hard at all and they get money. Some people don't work at all and they get money. Yeah? Some people work really hard. Think about in Asia when they work on the rice fields all day long. They get hardly any money for that. So getting money does not come from where we think we get it from. So that is taking refuge, thinking about stuff like that, thinking about it can be true, so it must be coming from something else, and then just thinking about stuff like that, catching yourself when you think you're having wrong ideas about anything, thinking, I said that last week, I think, getting a tea is the result of me going into Starbucks and giving the lady money. Not true. Not true at all. Why not? And then where does it come from, the tea? I've said it before, I've gone into Starbucks, I don't have the drink I want. I've gone into Starbucks, I ask for a small cup. Sorry, we're out of small cups. I can only give you a large cup. Had it happen. Didn't come from the money that I gave because I paid for a small cup, but I get a big cup, right? The flavor of the tea. Sometimes it's great, sometimes it's not. Sometimes I get the wrong drink. So all of these things that we normally think, that's how it works. Start to question, start to think on, okay, how is it actually working? Can it be true that it's working the way I always thought it worked? Putting your key in the car ignition. We just think that putting the key in it will get us from A to B. Not necessarily so. Yesterday I put my key and nothing happened. Not even a sound. So the things we think that are cause and effect are not. Okay, so this is taking refuge, thinking about these things. And then yes, we can take refuge in different ways, as we said. You can take refuge in a holy being. When I feel sad or something happens to me, first, actually my whole day is based around my Lama, but even more so if something happens and I'm sad, will always, always call upon my Lama right away. This is where my refuge is. Just starting to think about, how things are appear to be working and how they are really working. This is taking refuge. This is taking Buddhist refuge. Does that help?
Yeah, because I am very good, keeping my book now. It's kind of, sometimes there will be one item that, I go through those 10, but sometimes I can find something and I'll just kind of reflect on what was the good karma, what was the not so good karma in the past, and it makes me apply wisdom to whatever's going on.
So thinking about wisdom is refuge.
More because sit down and meditation just it wasn't a good meditation, but I was thinking, oh, what did I do? But well, that's what it is. I was thinking, oh yeah, what did I go to bed late, or did I eat something, or what could I? But it's just that's what I'm purifying. That's what it is, and just be with it.
That's good. That's good. Yeah, and knowing that sometimes you can have the best meditations when you have gone to bed late, when it's super noisy in the house or the neighbors drilling, I don't know, it's not necessarily those things that are, just catching yourself.
Yeah, everything, good or bad, that's good to know. Because I didn't really know what refuge could be. Like as Tanji was saying, can you find something to apply it to, right? I think I'm doing that now.
Mm-hmm.
More and more.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we won't have class for a few weeks, so it's good that we practice taking refuge.
Yeah. Yeah, that can be an assignment, When we come back, just maybe let's all think of some examples where we took refuge in these upcoming weeks, and something that you don't mind sharing, and how that looked for you. And taking refuge in a being that's already realized, the things you want to realize can be very powerful too. That combined with, applying the wisdom. Yeah, so let's do that. Let's all try to be aware and see. And let's bring in some examples of the things the situations when we've taken refuge. Sangye Shindu Mete Uwa Niro Konam Shinwa Chupa Sho Hinam Gura Mamala Nike Suna Yeshe So Shin Suna Yeshe Leishun Dampa Kuni Topa Sho. Thank you all so much for coming. So the next class is on January 27th. Okay, so that's a little ways. My pleasure.
Oh, you look like a young hot chick. Right? And it's being broadcast.